Hi, this is Ralph Wilson with Web Marketing Today. I'm at Search Engine Strategies in San Jose, and here with me is Mona Elesseily. What company are you with, Mona?
I'm with a company called Page Zero Media.
All right. And they're experts with paid search. I've already interviewed Andrew Goodman, and Mona is the expert, particularly with the Yahoo Panama platform. Well, today we're talking about how to write ads. So what are some tips you have for us, Mona?
Sure. So there are four things that I'm basically going to go over that will really help you put together killer ad copy.
Okay.
So the first one, if you're starting from scratch and you're wanting to generate ad copy, you have a blank piece of paper in front of you, the first thing I would recommend that people do is to take a look at what their competitors are doing in terms of the paid search. If you notice that a lot of competitors are doing specific things, like a lot of advertisers will choose free shipping, or you'll find that a lot of the ad copy is kind of similar. I'll suggest that you not do what everybody else is doing to kind of stand out a little bit more.
Okay, so the idea here is to stand out, not to copy.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
So even if what they're doing is effective, if you do it too, it's not going to necessarily be that effective for you.
Well, it's not. You're not really differentiating, right? Like if everybody has free shipping, for example, you're just one of many companies that offers free shipping. So it brings me actually to my second point. My second point is to really understand what your company's unique selling propositions are, or they're also called USPs. By understanding those, you can really exploit what it is that's unique to your company and your products and services.
Okay. What's next?
Okay, so the next thing that I would encourage people to do would be to create compelling ad copy. Make that ad copy spicy and use a tone that is appropriate to your product or service.
So you use the word spicy. What's spicy?
Spicy. So spicy isn't necessarily flashy or over the top or whatever, but you want to make that ad copy stand out a little bit. Like we've been on the internet, we've seen these ads, and some of the ads can be quite generic at times, right? So you want that ad copy to kind of, jump out at people a little bit. It can jump out by, if you understand your unique selling proposition.
Well, give me an example of spicy copy.
Spicy copy. Okay, so there's three things that I'm basically going to recommend that people do. So one would be to cater the ads to different buyers' needs. So like if you have, say, a good price, your company has good prices, why don't you try including the price in your ad? That's one example. Okay. Some people are motivated, they need reassurance in terms of buying a product or service. So why don't you try something like, if your company offers 24/7 customer service, hey, throw it in your ad copy. If your company offers if you're an official site, well, that's reassurance for some people. So that's important, and it's worth trying in your ad copy as well.
So different ways to differentiate yourself, and of course, because you don't have enough space, you can't include them all in the same ad.
No, and which leads me to my final point is that you want to test, right? So you want to kind of, obviously companies have more than one unique selling proposition in most circumstances. So you want to test different propositions. So make sure that you're coming up with ad copy and you're testing, continually testing.
Now tell me, how do you test?
How do you test? Good question. So in the interface, like in Google and Yahoo and MSN, there are ways in which you can run. I guess the easiest way to test would be to create more than one ad copy. You'd want to create maybe 2 or 3, and then see which one is performing best, and then go with that, and then continually kind of build on top of what you've achieved. So.
I found with testing, sometimes you start by testing the headline or the title, because that's often the most important thing. And once you get that optimized, then you work down on the line or two, whatever you have left, and work at optimizing that, and just keep at that testing until you've optimized it to the very best extent. Of course, we're talking about optimizing for click-through rate. The other thing we're not talking about today is optimizing for the best conversion rate, which is a whole other issue. Right. But writing compelling copy,
you can actually
spicy copopy.
If I could jump in, you can actually do both. You can test for both. Obviously, click-through ratios are very important when it comes to how much how much you're going to be paying in terms of clicks. But you want to look at click-through ratios, and you want to also look at the conversion rate as well, right? Like if I have a super high click-through ratio, but my conversions are, that's not good. If I have one, a click-through ratio that isn't, say, as high, but I'm converting 4 times as much, I would probably go with that ad being the more successful ad, right? So.
Now, you work particularly with the Yahoo platform, but your organization works across platforms. Is there any real difference between what works better on Yahoo, for instance, than works on Google, or are they pretty much, what will work well on one will work well on the other, or what do you think?
Yeah, good question. So I'll, in terms of ad copy, I will say that there are differences. Like the audiences are there's slightly different demographics. So oftentimes what we'll see is different response rates, basically, or we'll try different angles on the different engines, and we seem to be successful in kind of tailoring our ads to the specific engine. So I would say no. I'd say, if something's working on whatever platform, maybe use that as a place to start on another engine, but always be tweaking and refining and fine-tuning so that you can kind of find the perfect ad copy for that particular. One more thing I'm going to say is that it's specifically having to do with Google and Yahoo. Yahoo, in the headline, you can get 40 characters in, as opposed to on Google, there's only 35. So you really need to kind of take advantage of that as well. So.
Okay, very good. Well, you've just released the second edition of your. You wrote the book. On Yahoo search marketing, and the second edition really focuses on the Panama platform. Tell us briefly about your book, what the title is and everything.
Sure. So it's Mastering Panama is the title of the book. And basically, it's tips and tricks. The new platform is radically different than the old platform. There is a learning curve that is involved with the new interface. So it's just a book that kind of helps people kind of get acquainted with the new interface. There's a section in there that deals with ad copy and how to generate killer ad copy. And there's
and where do they get the book?
Sure. So they can go to Page Zero, www.pagezero.com, and there's a link on the Page Zero page that will take you to where you can buy the book.
Very good. Thank you so much for being with us today, Mona.
Thanks, Ralph.
This is Ralph Wilson with Web Marketing Today.